Can you believe this? Two brothers, one empire, and a fight that changed history forever. I'm beyond thrilled to share this with you. What if I told you that the most powerful empire in the world was founded by a pair of twins who were, get this, raised by wolves? No, seriously, wolves. This is the legendary tale of Romulus and Remus, the two brothers who didn't just survive against the odds, they conquered the world in the most incredible way. The two brothers who founded the Roman Empire. Let's rewind to ancient Rome, back when it was nothing more than a sleepy little village, far from the global superpower it would become. The year is around 753 BC, and we have two newborn babies, twins, left to die by the river. Their names? Romulus and Remus. Let's take a closer look at how these little guys went from abandoned infants to powerful founders of one of the most famous empires in history. The origins of Romulus and Remus. Now, before you think that being abandoned by your parents is a surefire way to end up as the villain in a superhero movie, know this. Romulus and Remus were destined for greatness, or at least that's what the myth tells us, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. The twins were born into royal blood, sons of Rhea Silvia, a priestess of the goddess Vesta, and Mars, the god of war. Yeah, no big deal. They were literally children of a god, but things took a turn for the worse when their grandfather, King Numitor, was overthrown by his brother Romulus. Not only did Romulus steal the throne, but he also locked up Rhea Silvia in a temple and ordered the twins to be drowned in the Tiber River. And somehow the twins ended up being placed in a basket and set adrift on the river, their tiny lives hanging in the balance. And here's where it gets a little interesting and totally magical. Instead of meeting a tragic end, the twins were found by a she-wolf. Yes, a she-wolf, who decided to take care of them like her own cubs. Now, we don't have a lot of records on how exactly a wolf managed to nurse two human babies. I absolutely love how wild this gets. The she-wolf, who was probably the nicest mother figure these kids could have asked for, cared for them with such love until they were found by a shepherd named Faustulus. Faustulus and his wife, Acca Larentia, took the twins in and raised them as their own. Now, Romulus and Remus didn't exactly grow up to be your average, run-of-the-mill villagers. Oh no, they were extraordinary. They were strong, fierce, and, thanks to their divine bloodline, tended to do things like saving the day and fighting bad guys without much effort. Seriously, these guys had future emperor written all over them. As they grew older, the brothers became known for their courage and strength. One day, while helping some local farmers, they had an encounter with some bandits that went, well, let's just say it ended in the bandits getting a serious case of defeat. These brothers were unstoppable. The brothers became local heroes, and that's when things started to get a little political, and oh, so intense. As you can imagine, a pair of young, capable men starting to gain popularity might rub the local rulers the wrong way, especially when they find out that you're the grandsons of a former king. Eventually, the brothers decided that they needed to establish a city of their own, one that would be as strong and legendary as they were, and where better to do it than on the banks of the Tiber River, where their journey had begun. They set their sights on a hilltop known as the Palatine Hill, and it was there that they decided they would build the city that would one day become the heart of the Roman Empire. But of course, things couldn't just be that simple, not with these two. Remus stands opposite him, holding a staff, his expression a mix of defiance and hurt. The wooden stakes of the future city's walls loom behind them. Romulus wants to build their city right here on the Palatine Hill. His vision is clear, his resolve unshakable. But Remus, oh Remus, has a different dream. He points to another hill, insisting it's the better spot, Their voices rise, their words sharp like daggers, as brotherly love turns to bitter rivalry. Romulus slams his spear into the ground, while Remus waves his staff angrily. Thunder rumbles, and rain begins to fall. The argument escalates. Years of shared struggles boil over into rage. Remus mocks Romulus' plan, stepping over the sacred boundary of the new city's walls. Romulus's eyes blaze with fury. This is an insult he can't forgive. In a heartbeat, he raises his spear, and Remus lunges forward, staff in hand. They clash with the ferocity of warriors, their shouts drowned by the storm. And then, it happens. Romulus's spear finds its mark, and Remus falls to the ground, his blood staining the earth of the city he'll never see. The storm rages on, as Romulus drops to his knees beside his brother, his face a mask of anguish. He's won, but at what cost? It's heartbreaking to even think about. Now, before you start judging Romulus too harshly, remember, this is a story about how legends are made, and it's not always easy. And unfortunately, in this case, it meant that Romulus had to kill his own brother to claim the title of founder of the city. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions, and Romulus made the toughest of them all. I can't imagine the weight of that moment. With Remus's death weighing on his soul, Romulus doesn't hesitate. He gets to work with unstoppable drive. He surveys the Palatine Hill, envisioning a city that will stand for centuries. First, he marks the boundaries with those wooden stakes, declaring this land sacred. He calls it Rome, a name that will echo through history. But a city needs people, and Romulus knows he can't do it alone. His vision demands a community. And here's where Romulus's genius shines. He opens his arms to the outcasts, to runaway slaves fleeing cruel masters, to exiles banished from their homes, to anyone seeking a fresh start. He creates a sanctuary on the hill, a place where the forgotten can belong. "Come to me," he declares, his voice ringing out, "and together we'll build something extraordinary." The crowd cheers, their spirits lifted by his promise of a new life. The work begins at dawn. Romulus organizes his people with precision. Carpenters shape timber into huts. Masons lay the first stones for walls, and laborers dig trenches for a future aqueduct. He walks among them, his tunic stained with dirt, offering encouragement with every step. "Stronger walls, higher hopes," he calls, and the people respond with sweat and smiles. The Tiber provides water and fish, sustaining this growing community as they transform the hill into a thriving settlement. But Romulus knows a city needs governance. He establishes a senate, gathering the wisest elders from his people. In a simple wooden hall, he lays out his plans, laws to keep order, a council to make decisions. "We'll rule together," he says, his voice steady, "for the good of all." The elders nod, their respect for him growing as they draft the first rules of Rome. This is the birth of a government, a foundation for an empire. Days turn to weeks, and Rome takes shape. Romulus oversees the construction of protective walls, their wooden spikes gleaming under the setting sun. He builds a small temple to honor the gods, its altar already smoking with offerings. And to defend this new home, he forms a military. Men from his diverse band train with spears and shields, their movements disciplined yet fierce. The Tiber's banks buzz with boats bringing supplies, and the village grows into a town before our eyes. Under Romulus's leadership, Rome isn't just a city, it's a beacon of hope. He works tirelessly, his hands calloused, his spirit unbroken. The outcasts become citizens, the hill becomes a home, and the dream of an empire begins to take root. So, there you have it. The brothers who started as abandoned infants, raised by wolves, and grew into the founders of one of the greatest empires in history. Their story is a mix of myth and reality, but one thing is for sure. Without Romulus and Remus, the Roman Empire might never have come to be. Their journey from nothing to everything is a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary histories start with the simplest of beginnings. I'm so moved by their legacy. And hey, if you've ever had a sibling argument, just remember, things could have been worse. At least you didn't have to fight for the future of an empire. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more incredible history stories like this one. I can't wait to share more with you.